Hi, it's Danny. Welcome to this video, welcome to this channel, and if you're returning, welcome back. Deep gratitude to you for joining me today. So what are we doing today? I know this looks very different. This is a Leuchtturm 1917 A5 notebook, and if you remember a long time ago, I did a bullet journal thesis type thing, or a bullet journal for my thesis. And I haven't been back to show you guys how it's been going because ultimately I've been working on my thesis, and well, it's easier to show you my planners and my planning in my planners because those change day by day. Well, they don't really change because I'm a loser, but they are more diverse day by day. This has pretty much stayed the same. Not the same in terms of how I set it up. I've been inputting data in it, but it looks like a mess. It's a mess. I'm going to be honest, it's a mess that makes sense to only me, and that wasn't intentional, but I'm here pretty much to do a flip through of this notebook. I have written about up until 137 pages, but look at me trying to practice my letter writing. The notebook itself carries 250 pages, so I'm almost halfway through this notebook, and I'm still have so many notes to take. So let's start. Yeah, let me cover my name there a little bit. You probably already saw that. I mean, who cares? What's my name? Anyhow, I stickered it a little bit just to give it encouraging quote. If you dream it, you can do it. We read to know that we are not alone. Begin anywhere. Work hard, play harder. And I also stickered the back. Relax. Take the road less traveled. If you dream it, you can become it. When in doubt, go to the library. I'm not antisocial. I'd rather read, which is true. All I have learned from books. Not necessarily true, but, you know, if we lose ourselves in books, we find ourselves there too, which I feel is true. So I didn't update the index. I haven't been updating it at all. I hope you can see it. Yes, you can see it. Yeah, so I haven't been updating the index. But you may recognize these spreads, and I also put stay curious, which is my motto. That is literally my motto since I was 5 years old. Ask questions and stay curious. Anyhow, this is my timeline for my thesis, and this is notes from a meeting that I had May 10th, and I created a timeline for when things are due. So right now this was February, March, April, May, June, July, August, and then the start of September. And then I continued it so we're right about here, the second week of October, which nothing is due, which is why I'm doing readings, and I'm supposed to have a chair meeting the second latest, the second week of December, which is the 45th week of my thesis. And then I'm supposed to do a progress check sometime in mid-December, early January. The first draft is due in February, so pretty much December and January is when I'm going to be writing most of the text. Right now, I'm doing a lot of reading. I'm trying to read as much as possible and figure out how I'm going to make the chapters. That's where I'm at right now. So I'm doing a lot of reading, a lot of note taking, and figuring out how I'm going to make the chapters because it kind of changes with every conversation with my thesis chair. My defense is supposed to be the first week of March, which is why it's so short. The revisions are supposed to take place the second week to March to the last week of March, and then my deadline is April 1st, the first week of April. So I don't have that much time. Right now we're in the 31st week, and it is due in 20 weeks from now. So 20 times 7 is 140 days. I have 140 days to read multiple books and multiple articles and write about 50 more pages. I have already written 25 pages, actually 24 pages, not including the um, abstract, and I am still working on it. I'm so behind. I may have to take another semester. I hope the hell not, because I'm applying to PhD programs or 2 PhD programs this coming for next fall. And I need to have everything in tip-top order. I need to be a student who has graduated by the time I apply to these programs. So I haven't updated this. This is where I'm supposed to keep my pretty much my reading. I haven't updated it. I've read, and you'll see in a second that I've read 16 different sources already. Some of these I've read, some of these I haven't. Some of these I already have notes on, some of these I don't. So I have to update this and then create another one because it's beyond this list right now. So this was my summer reading schedule, which I didn't really write in or invest in at all because I was really distracted and I didn't spend enough time reading, which I wish I did. Long story short, when they tell you you should be reading, you should read. So don't waste time. If you're doing a master's thesis and they tell you to start reading in the summer, if you have an idea of what you're researching on, start reading in the summer. Trust me, you want to finish your reading list in the summer so that way you could write your prospectus real easy. I was able to write my prospectus very easily. It's just figuring out the chapters and thinking. I'm the kind of researcher who thinks that I don't know enough to write, and I don't realize that I know enough until I start writing. So that's my conundrum, and that's what I'm struggling with right now because I should have an outline, a real working outline, not just kind of like in my head. So these are some of the ideas. It's funny because I divided a brain dump and ideas that I would have, which I am working on. I'm not sure if this is one of my first outlines that I thought I was going to do. I thought I was going to do a language unit, literacy unit, rhetoric unit, research and argument unit. It's not going to be like that at all. I know that's not going to work for what I'm doing. And my brain dump is literally a dump of when I'm reading and I come up with ideas that I don't want to put within my reading notes because I want to. What I'm doing is I'm taking quotes and ideas from different sources and I'm writing it in this notebook, and you'll see in a second. And my brain dump is when ideas really jump out at me and I'm like, okay, let me what's my response to it. And so I've been throwing my responses to it or stances that I plan to take in my thesis here. So it's not really a brain dump, but it is a brain dump because it's all unorganized. It's been written over the past, since this summer I've been writing in this brain dump. So I thought, like, here's another outline that I thought I was going to do: a linguistic stance, an anti-racist stance, and a compassionate stance. The anti-racist stance is not working out. I'm reading anti-racist pedagogy narratives right now, and they are not in line with how I envision my pedagogy. And so I may have to leave that out, which is annoying because I have to read these articles anyway because I need to do this for a review essay for a class that I'm taking. And I have to do it for a review essay that for a class that I'm taking, and I'm not even going to use any of the sources, but I've been taking notes just in case. Some of the ideas are necessary or helpful, but the pedagogy in itself, I don't find it useful, really. And I kind of want to talk to my graduate, my thesis chair about it because she recommended a specific book. I just had blood drawn today. I'm trying to get the book out. She recommended that I read this book, Anti-Racist Writing Assessment Ecologies, Teaching and Assessing Writing for the Socially Just Future by Inouye. I can't say his last name. I'm terrible at it. She recommended this be on my reading list, and I haven't read it yet, but I've been reading excerpts from sorry, this book. And it is not as helpful as everything else that I've read, the excerpts from this book. And I'm going to tell her that I've been reading excerpts from this book my for my other class, and I'm just going to explain to her, like, I don't know if anti-racist pedagogy really fits for radically inclusive pedagogy, or I haven't found that article that makes that connect for me, because right now the pedagogy itself feels so combative and so isolating. So I gotta figure that out. So sorry, that's what's going on in my brain right now. Here are my goals for this pedagogy, which I plan to include probably in my introduction, probably in my conclusion, because I already wrote my introduction. And these are the actual goals. But the thing is, this pedagogy is not really discussed the way I'm discussing it. So they're the goals. I'm making up the goals as I go along, which is frightening. So technically, my goals are the goals I'm going to make for the pedagogy in and of itself. More meeting notes with my thesis chair. And here's where I start writing the sources. So this looks like chaos, I know. So what did I do? What did I do? So I write the source number, the article, and the writer of the text. And what I've also been using is these little page tab things to show, and I'm missing one over here, but page tabs things to show when a new text begins. And I just take notes per source, and I indicate that with these. I'm going to have to make it more specific, but I already know that the first set of readings were language-based, or taken from a book called Code Meshing by Vershawn Young, and I think, what's his name? I think it's Frankie, what's her name? Frankie Coden? I think that's her name. Vershawn Young and, oh, Asia Martinez, my bad. So it was Rashawn Ashanti Young and Asia Martinez. Code Meshing as World English is mostly what I've read from this book. I read the entire thing. Some of it was cumbersome. And the rest of it is just pretty much notes. And you see how the pen markings change and how my handwriting changes. I've been trying to look for the perfect pen for this, and I've pretty much found it in my old school love Sarasa Study in a 0.5. I love this pen, and you'll see in these lighter notes how it writes. My handwriting is crap, it's chicken scratch, but the pen itself is the perfect amount of thickness and thinness so that it's legible. And it may not be legible to you, but it is legible to me. And another thing that's been saving me is this, otherwise there'd been a bunch of crossouts. So this is a cream colored correction tape that I got from, where did I get this? From Amazon Japan. So I use this because it kind of matches. It's not an exact match, but I use this to cover corrections when I make mistakes. And I have made mistakes, but you can't really tell because I've been using my correction tape. So, yeah. So this is what I've been doing. This is source 14. Source 15, I'm missing a clip. Hold on. I have my paper clips in this beautiful box that my sister and brother-in-law bought me in Poland. Isn't it pretty? So, there we go. I'm going to have to color coordinate my clips in a second to show the difference between anti-racist pedagogy and linguistic pedagogies, or linguistic justice pedagogies that I'm studying. I'm going to organize this when I'm done with this book. And I'm thinking I will probably, I don't know at what point I'll reach the end of this book. I have this much left, and I have that much to read. So I think I'm going to end up killing off this book, but I have more drums in the background. I need to make another brain dump. I need to make another I need to make another page where I'm writing all my bibliographies. Technically, what I should have wrote was the ones that I was reading as I read it, but I decided to start writing my bibliography, and I never got done with finishing it. My bibliography right now, my works cited page is like, I want to say 30 sources. And this is just a thesis. And everyone keeps reminding me that it's just a thesis. So, oh, this is a top view. And I have little cat ears for my brain dump because I go back to that brain dump. But my brain dump is like filling up. It's filled. So I'm going to have to make another brain dump after I finish the source that I'm reading right now. So yeah, somebody asked me for an update a while ago, and I'm sorry I haven't been able to post one recently, but again, I've been working, and I was very personal about this book because I put a lot of time and effort in this book. Like, I spend most of my time in this book now. Yeah, every day I open this book up and I do research, so it's very close to my heart, and I'm very sensitive about it. But I started it by showing you guys it. I didn't think I would get this ingrained or this connected with the work that I'm reading, but I really am. And so I hope this was helpful to somebody. I'm old school. I know people take electronic notes. I can't do that. I need to remember what I read, and writing what I've read helps me remember. Typing doesn't help me. I've forgotten papers that I've written. I wrote my prospectus, and I came back a couple of days later to see my chair's edits, and she moved one of my paragraphs over, and I was just like, did she write this? This is beautiful. And I did realize that was my writing. I was just like, I felt so stupid. I didn't say that to her, but I thought to myself, is this my writing? And I realized that it was. So typing, for me, there's a disconnect between typing and typing and me memorizing or remembering what I typed. So me writing it, I can actually recall details better, because there are certain instances where I'm writing and I have like YouTube playing in the background, or I have my husband saying something to me and I can recall the details. Like, there's something textual that happens to me as I write these notes. So that's my process for my thesis. I know it's very antiquated, so I don't recommend it. My thesis chair told me to do electronic, but I'm not going to do electronic, and so it's going to be a lot of paging through this book when I start really writing my literacy review. So I am not really worried about that because I know where everything is because I wrote it. Anyhow, I hope this was helpful to you. Please be sure, and thank you for watching. By the way, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do as you deem fit. And remember to question everything except your instincts and yourself. And I will be sure to catch you on the flips. Bye.